Greetings, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing amazing out there. Some of y'all are not. And I found out why today. 18 people in the South are dead. I'm not sure if any of them are truckers, though. And there's a good reason why. Yesterday, dozens of tornadoes ripped across the South, sending terrible destruction and devastation. And I want to talk with y'all about that, plus the fact that I also have fear of the enemy wind and other windstorms. And these things have made me nervous for decades. And I want to talk with y'all about it because I got traumatized in childhood by one of them. And most people don't even realize the danger. So let's talk about it. So, in 1989, 1992, and again in 2015 and 2014, I had close encounters with this. Okay, so let me explain. In 1989, a breakage of glass and a loud roar caused me to be afraid of toilets for 5 years. Okay, that was bad enough. In 1992, over Labor Day weekend, and then again, later on in the 90s, we had 2 separate severe thunderstorms that caused tree damage in my yard. One of which, the earlier one, was on Labor Day weekend and was tornadic. The latter one was just a severe thunderstorm that wasn't warned on radar. So now you see where things are getting kind of scary here. And then in 2014, I had a close encounter with one at a truck stop. These vicious monsters, they're called naders down here in Texas. I was up in Illinois at the time, but same thing applies. And strong wind gusts and severe thunderstorms as well. Let's not forget that in 2014, I witnessed a tractor-trailer rollover caused by a crosswind over 50 miles per hour, too. From the safety of a truck stop parking lot, thank God. So, it doesn't always have to be a tornado in order to do damage to a big truck. Let me start there. Any high wind gust can cause a rollover, especially if the driver's not paying attention and slowing down. And I'm living proof of that. And thankfully, I was in safety when that happened. And I was witnessing it from a distance. Not up close. So, that's kind of some of the stuff that has traumatized me. And it seems like every windstorm I go through, someone in some truck has tipped over. And we need to put a stop to it. Pure and simple. I can't control Mother Nature, but you can control how you drive. In fact, I'm going to come up to my computer here and turn on my projector because this will kind of help tell the story. And yeah, I'm using my phone to record this. My projector's a little off. There we go. So, I'm going to pull up the news story here. They've got some different numbers now. At least 26 people. This is from the Weather Channel. Okay? And their headline is, more than 24 killed as tornadoes and storms tear across the South. $1.2 million homes without power. 5 people killed as the storms tore through a mobile home park near the Georgia-Tennessee line. 11 killed in Mississippi, and the storms were impacting the Carolinas this morning. So, let's start in South Carolina, where a tornado struck the Borg-Warner turbocharger plant. Yeah, the guys that make the turbos for the big trucks. The guy worked as a security guard, was out in the guard shack trying to do his job, when suddenly it just slammed into the guard shack and blew him out. Or blew him away. Georgia. Two mobile home parks near the town of Chatsworth got destroyed. And that's why I tell people, don't be in a mobile home when one of these is hitting. Another one was killed when a severe thunderstorm wind gust knocked a tree down into his house. In Tennessee, 20 people had to go to the hospital, and 150 structures damaged in Chattanooga. And they're still in rescue mode as of tonight. 65 people in an Alzheimer's living facility were also moved to a nearby hotel after the building was damaged in the storm. That's basically a similar incident to my first tornado incident in the early 90s. He's in the late 80s. And then Mississippi. They had 11 people die. And 5 homes were destroyed in one of the counties, and 2 of the victims were a county sheriff and his wife. This is not, and I'm sorry, my audio just kicked on here. But that is the kind of damage that I've seen or I've heard about over the years as people who are ill-prepared or think they're invincible or think they can just get away from it all end up in a tornado situation. So, in the truck, there are procedures that you need to follow if one hits. So, I want to talk with y'all about those right now. So, a truck is a lot like a small mobile home, but with a huge sail attached. What this means is that any strong wind gust can cause it to sway violently, roll over, or worse. So, I'm going to give you a few common situations here where when the warning goes out that you need to be aware. Let's start with situation number 1, where the security guard was killed at a loading dock. The safest course of action in that situation, if you can get it, is to get inside a secure building. Perhaps the main structure instead of the guard shack. But if you cannot do that, then you need to take action right away. If you cannot get in the building for whatever reason, you need to immediately get back in your truck, fasten the seatbelt, and get down low. Because you're going to be in for a wild ride. Number 2, at the truck stops. If you're at a truck stop and you start to see or hear about a tornado, you need to be running for your life. That means getting away from the trucks, getting inside the building, and waiting it out there. And you need to do so before the cashier locks the door. And I'm dead serious about that, because I've lived through one at a truck stop. For me, my moment happened in 2014 at a Flying J. In Hebron, Indiana, just outside of the city of Chicago and the city of Gary. This particular storm had winds well over posted speed limits for trucks. Dead serious. It knocked the power out. It did some damage in the parking lot, including hitting the exhaust stack on my truck. And this was when I was working at McLeod Express and driving an International, by the way. And they seriously thought that the truck had a bridge strike when they saw the damage. But even so, the truck was still drivable, so I managed to get it over there and get it fixed. However, many times the damage is much more serious than that. So now we go on to number 3, at your trucking company terminal. Whether that be a FedEx hub or perhaps your company office or whatever. If you can get inside the building, do so, and do so quick. Because if you're outside, you're screwed. Several Western Express drivers found that out the hard way in the much more recent Nashville tornadoes. So, with that being said, let's just be prepared for that kind of stuff. I want you all to remember PIOSEE. Problem, information, options, select an option, evaluate, and execute. Switch the last 2 steps around. So, P, which is a problem. In this case, tornado or severe thunderstorm. Information. The warning's gone out. You've got large hail, damaging winds, and or a tornado on the ground. Option. This is where you got to decide what you need to do. If you can see it ahead of you and it's heading away, you can continue to drive. But if it suddenly starts coming towards you, or if it changes direction, you really need to stop and evaluate whether or not you need to turn around or find a different path. This is where your Smith system comes in handy. Because if you're already looking 10 seconds ahead and keeping your eyes moving, your chances of seeing the funnel, the thunderstorm, or whatever are going to be much greater than if you're looking down at your phone. Now, once you've found your option, select that option and execute. Which means if it's to turn around, you bring your truck to a stop, find a safe place to make a turn, and then do it. If it's the less common situation of there's nowhere to go because you're on the freeway, then find a safe place to stop. Rest area, truck stop, way station, whatever. Just get out of its path and get inside a sturdy structure. Evaluate. This means that you see the situation progress once you've got to your safe place and you decide on your next action. And this is also where you see whether or not you or your buddies have survived. So, tornadoes are serious. And I want you to be aware as we continue through the severe weather season, because they can kill you. So, how do you find out that there's a problem that's causing a tornado and the information you need to survive? The P and the I. Well, let's start with two basic things. Number one is getting alerted. You should have a phone or weather radio in your truck at all times, period. You should also have additional radios and other sources of information at home and on the road. So, TV, service at the house, perhaps a regular AM/FM radio, CB, whatever. Multiple ways to get informed. Then number two is you need to remember your Smith 5 keys. Aim high in steering. Keep your eyes moving. Get the big picture. Leave your cell phone out and make sure they see you. That's part of the PIOSEE strategy as well. Those 5 keys will make the difference, not just in your everyday driving, but during emergencies as well. And remember, tactics always beat skills any day. So a little planning and preparation now, before you even start driving, can make the difference between life and death out on the road. Now, here's some other things you ought to consider carrying in your truck besides the weather radio I just mentioned, and your phone. You need to carry some basic hand tools, just in case you have to shut something off or quickly remove something or fix something on your truck. Things like vice grips and perhaps a ratchet and socket set. Fifth wheel puller. That's one that's come in handy for me. That's also commonly referred to as a crowbar. But the trucker tool is more specific because it's made for pulling fifth wheels. Something to cover up any cuts or bruises you get on the road. A first aid kit in particular would be ideal to keep in your truck. Now, most companies are required to carry a fire extinguisher by the DOT. So that way, if the damage somehow causes a fire, for whatever reason, you can quickly try to put it out. And finally, carry extra supplies on you. Food, water, blankets, etc. Because I found multiple occasions where those have come in handy as well. So, let's be prepared and not be scared. Let's know that we're all in this together. I've chased a few naders myself in the big truck. Needless to say, I choose not to get video of them because I'm not stupid like that. And I'm not a certified storm chaser or a certified storm spotter. I am a professional truck driver. That is my job. It is my job to keep you and myself safe. So, when it comes down to it, you need to be informed, prepared, and ready. And being scared is the worst thing you can do. Panicking is also very bad. A lot of these people who were hit by the tornadoes were not informed of the danger because either they lived out away from town, or they relied on tornado sirens, or they didn't follow their PIOSEE procedures. Only one of them did, and he couldn't do nothing else. Now there's a scary thought, because when homes are getting lifted off foundations and stuff, you need to be away from that hazard. Now, if you have a storm shelter, by all means, use it. If you don't have one and you're buying a house, get one. Or at least get a room where it is safe, even if the house shifts off the foundation. Now, I'm not saying do this immediately. Do this over your long-term plan along with your other renovations that you're going to end up doing anyway. And for the big truck, know your safe options, have a plan, and stay informed. Because when you suddenly have to pull off the highway, or when you have to stop the truck for whatever reason, or when you have to get down, you need to be prepared for that situation. I really wish more trucking companies would teach tornado drills and fire drills to drivers as part of their safety training. So that way, drivers would know what to do in emergencies and would be better trained on it. It's a big-time training issue in this business, and I know I'm going to be somewhat outspoken on this, but in the end, lives will be saved by training. Practice, practice, practice. And there's many drivers that are seasoned and have never encountered this kind of an emergency before. And there's many drivers who are rookies who encounter it for the first time, and they panic and get scared and nervous. I want you to know that you've got a plan and that you're going to be okay if you prepare ahead of time. There are some situations that are hard to prepare for. This is one of them. And having a place to go is always better than not. Please pray for the families that were involved in last night's severe weather outbreak, as well as for the truckers out there on the road who still have the chance of encountering it next time it hits. Let's make your best trip your next trip by being prepared for severe weather. There is a previous episode that you can refer to for some of the stuff that I've talked about. So let me pull up my YouTube channel right quick on my computer here. And get into YouTube Studio. I'm still working on finding it here, so just bear with me. And it's actually episode 109 about Nashville getting hit back on March 5th. As well as episode... Where's the one on Dallas gets hit also? That's back in January here. And that's episode 72 back from October 21st of 2019. So, if you want to, you can refer back to those. And there's also plenty of other resources here on YouTube, as well as through the professional weather vendors like the Weather Channel, AccuWeather, and the National Weather Service here in the United States. So, if you're thinking that severe weather is going to be impacting you, get a plan together, get a safe place in mind, and start thinking like a pilot. Let's make your best trip your next trip. Keep learning, keep thinking, keep driving safely. Bye for now.